Sí. I'm ready, Venerable. I'm ready, Venerable.
For those of you who are present, we're being innovative today. We're going to try to be innovative today because we have no internet. We're going to do our best to bring those on the outside of the Dhamma hall inside with us. And if not, we'll be isolated. That's okay. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good morning, Sangha. Okay. Are we where we want to be, sisters? Okay. So, we are in my capacity as a monastic, the gift I get, the pleasure I get is meeting other very serious Buddhist students, which I am one of. And what I've noticed during this time of existence, this moment of existence, is for some of us, we still are not able to handle, to flow with the uncertainties or the certainties of life. I am still seeing a lot of pain and existential angst in people, a lot of sadness because of the influences of the virus on families and friends. But what I'd like to do today is to have a discussion about why that is so and what we can do to flatten that curve of anxiety, to resist the idea of inconvenience and non-acceptance as a way to see our moments of experience and to realize that everything is just what it is. So we do not have, as an example, this morning, we do not have the communication hookups that we usually have because of things out of our control. And the first observation, if you will, is to notice that in life, in existence, there is no control. So to want that to be a part of your your moment, your morning, or your reality sets you up for disappointment. I don't think that any of us would volunteer to participate in a cycle of life if we realized that it was an experience that has an unlevel playing field. In other words, life ain't fair. And it's never going to be fair because it operates on a different framework and a different clock. We would like to see things as we'd like to see things. We would like to see everybody be fair and loving and appreciating us and hugging us and telling us we're great, asking if there's anything at all they can do to help us in our own journey, anything we need, anything that will be beneficial to us in our experience, how great we are, how lovable we are, how deserving we are. And that just ain't life. So we start out by saying, well, how do I try to level this out? How do I try to make this acceptable to my sanity and my sense of fair play? What do I do? What is my responsibility? So the first thing we should do, and we've done this at this center, is to make a list of everything we think about. And we make 2 columns. This list is 2 columns wide. One column is those things that are unwholesome, that we know, because we don't really understand or know everything that's unwholesome. But what we think is unwholesome, what we've studied to be unwholesome, goes in one column. And the other column is a list of things that we discern to be, we believe to be wholesome. And so we have 2 columns, unwholesome and wholesome. And then we realize that a part of our mentality is constructed of habitual tendencies. And so we want to see the influence of habitual tendencies on the columns that we make, to see what it is that we gravitate toward more often than something else. Understanding that the reason I go to column 1 as a solution as opposed to column 2 as a solution is because I've always gone to column 1 as a solution. I see this in the pattern of things, in the pattern of living. And I realize that no matter how fair I want things to be, how balanced I want things to be, not going to happen that way. I've met gangsters and toters of firearms. Oh, thank you. Is that better? That their idea of a weapon and I'll choose a different word, a firearm, is a tool. It's not a weapon, it's a tool. They see it as a way to equalize or get rid of things that are unwanted in their existence. A pest, if you will, a prairie dog or a squirrel, something that's eating their crops. So they see it as a tool. But I see it as a taker of the life force. But I can't make anybody else see it that way because that's not the way the world works. I've got to, what I want you to understand is that we've got to, as a part of our peaceful coexistence with life, we've got to be able to accept the way others see their responsibility in relationship and be okay with that. That we do not waste and spend our time trying to convince another that they should see things the way we see them, that they should live with the rules that we've decided we're going to live with. That's a personal thing. We want it to be a universal thing. That means we're all playing on the same game board. You can't jump over two moves, like I can't jump over two moves. But we'll find that people will knock all the pieces off the game board. Look at Trump. Trump's got society all jacked up because they don't understand the rules that he's using, or they don't agree that the rules that he's living by should be lived by. But it's not about me changing the rules of another. It's about me making my rules livable for me, acceptable for me. So it doesn't matter then what others decide to do, that's their business. That's their choice. And I can't insert myself in their reasoning. My responsibility is to love them anyway. To develop the ability, the capability to walk the earth with love unconditional. Doesn't matter how you act, what you do, what your name is, what color you are, what gender you are, what gender preference you have. Doesn't matter. That's not a part of my game board's qualification. It says love unconditionally. Everybody, everywhere, all the time. Not when they're good, not when they're doing what you want them to do, but all the time. So our rules, our conventions for living are personal. It has nothing to do with your mom, with your dad, with your uncle. What they did or what they didn't do. It has to do with, am I going to love you and treat you the way I want you to love and treat me? And that's what we have to learn to align ourselves with. And that's what will allow us to be steady and peaceful and not disruptive of mind and heart when things are not in our playbook, or not in our rule book, that we are able to love that person, understand that person who does not respect our field of play. Therefore, when it's a person or when it's a virus, if it kills my auntie or causes my auntie to die and influence on her longevity, I don't get angry at that. I don't get hurt by that. I don't get impacted by that in that sense of it should have been different. This is a wrongful death. This is an unnatural death. There is no death that's unnatural. Because from the moment we come here until the moment we leave here, one of the certainties that we have is that we're going to die. Now, the surprise is we don't know what time, we don't know by what source. But to move to the next stage of presence, we got to die. We got to let this go to get the next thing. We can't hold on to one while we grab the other. We've got to be ready. But in the meantime, we also have to live by the rules of our creation while we're here in this time capsule, in this reality. Because this is the only thing that makes any sense. This is the only thing that we have any control over. It has been, it has been demonstrated over and over again. And no matter how close a person is to me, no matter how much love they say they have for me, they screw up. They hurt me because I expect them to be different. So one of the things we learn is not to have an expectation of what another will bring. And to realize that they might bring anything or everything, including COVID. Because we seem not to be able to be governed by caution. What I mean by that is we just came out of a holiday, a celebration. But all of the experts that know or say they understand the virus and its behavior has cautioned this country, the cities, the states, the world, that there are certain behaviors that we shouldn't participate in. So that we shouldn't travel. We should stay at home. We should cluster. We should just hang with the people that we've been hanging with all year. And there's lots of people who say, no, I don't want to do that. I'm tired of the people I've been hanging with. I want to go somewhere different. I want to do something different. I want to see some people that I haven't seen for a while. Do you know anything about COVID? Do you know anything about immune deficiencies? Do you know anything about how to deal with viruses in general? No, I don't know anything about any of that, but I want to go anyway. Don't you might impact your family that you're going to visit, that your auntie might be impacted, that your grandma might be impacted, that your brother-in-law might be impacted? No, I don't know about that, but I'm going anyway. Now we say, gee, this is terrible that people should do that. Why don't people care? Because they never have cared. They drink and drive. They commit suicide. They do things. They smoke beside you. They do things. People have always done things. People have always lived in an unloving way, a selfish way. And they'll tell you in a minute, well, it's my right. I don't have to wear a mask. I don't have to stop smoking around you. I can drink and drive if I want to. It's my business. So unless we can accept the unacceptable, the fact that there are people who say they care, who are concerned about us, but really aren't, because you can tell. You can tell by what they bring into your environment. Do they wear a mask? Do they wash their hands? How do they treat me? How do they care about me? Well, they treat me and they show me that they don't really care. And then what happens behind that is a genuine opportunity for you to pull out your list and say, how am I going to respond to this? Am I going to get angry at those people who don't wear masks? Am I going to be angry at those people who drink and drive? Am I going to be angry at the people who feel that they have the answer to their pain and their hurt by blowing up the city that I live in? By poisoning the well that I drink from? So you see, what we do is take the opportunity of an experience to determine how deep our love goes, how resistant we are to disappointment. And disappointment comes through expectation. And expectation is a fool's game because you realize that you don't know what's going to happen next. And you're going to always set yourself up for disappointment because you don't know. You're only wishing. I wish they would be this way, and I wish this would happen. And I hope that they were going to be loving for me and with me forever and ever and ever. You've got to be able to be clairvoyant and brave enough to accept the way life is and the way things are, not the way you want them to be, not your wish. Your wish should be, may I be able to withstand the disappointments of life and continue to keep love in my heart. That's your wish. because you know that nothing is guaranteed, no matter how good we are, no matter how sweet we are, that the world, life is going to treat us differently, going to give us breaks because we're good. We're good to everybody. We help everybody. Now, expectation should always be, it's going to happen to me too. And how do I spend my life in the meantime? Between now and the time that I die, what is it that I should be about? What is it that I should do? What is it that I should gift those around me and those who aren't around me? What should I do? How should I live? How should I gift those I know and those I don't know? And the answer to that, in my opinion, is to love those and respect those like I want to be loved and like I want to be respected. So on my list, on my playlist, on my to-do list, on my wholesome list, first off is thou shalt not kill. And it has no wiggle room. It doesn't say unless this happens or unless you do this, then you are fair game to be killed by me. It says no killing. That's it. Doesn't matter what they do. Well, suppose they kill your daughter, or suppose they kill your girlfriend, or suppose they kill your boyfriend, or suppose they kill your husband. No killing. Not in your world. Not on your watch. Well, what can I do instead? Can I retaliate in any way? No. Well, what am I supposed to do if I don't retaliate? You're supposed to love them. That's your promise. That's what you came here to do. That's what the sages say is the appropriate response. To love them anyway. Because they are obviously, they've been ill instructed. That they don't quite understand the game that we're all part of. They don't understand the rules of the chessboard that we play on. It's not easy. But it's the only way that you can develop the environment, the reality of peace. because you have no expectations except one. And that one is controllable because that one says, I love you. And we all know what that means. It means I love you. It means I'm not going to harm you. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm always going to have your best interests at heart at all times. Not because you're good or bad or indifferent or behave or treat me the way I think you should treat me, but I am going to love you no matter where you are on the board. And so we begin to construct our list of behavior in a way that always includes in every aspect of our relationship with the other the love that fuels our decisions. You can't beat me and love me at the same time. Now, there's some people who say you can, and they do that. But the recipient of that beating doesn't feel like he's being loved at all. So you can say anything, but it's about the energy that comes off of the promise that you make. How does it feel when somebody beats me with a stick or a strap or a cord or a fist? How does it feel to me? Does it feel like love? Well, if it does, then you've got the exemption to do that yourself. But for many people, that doesn't feel like love. No matter if I understand why a person felt that that was the option they had or the only option they had. Does it feel like love? Do I feel loved when you do that to me? And so the answer is no. So then I'm obligated not to respond or react to what you do or what you've said, but I am obligated to follow my own rules of engagement with life, which says, no matter what you do, I love you. Now, everything else falls under that. All of the other things that you can think of that you would not want another person to do. You know, it's about how you set your priorities in your list. The first thing is to understand why I do the things I don't want to do. To understand why we behave the way we behave. Because that's a part of love too. It's not just the killing part. It's not just someone deciding not to take your life, not to end your existence. But it's about promises we make. If I say that I respect you and that I love you and that I care about you and I want to be helpful to you and your plans about life and about community, and I make promises to you that I'm going to do this for you or with you, or I'm going to do that for you and with you. But then every time they are supposed to deliver on that promise, it's empty. There's an excuse as to why they didn't do what they promised they would do. Not what I wanted them to do, but what they said they would do. It doesn't feel good when a promise of love and respect is shattered, is fractured. One of the things that you know about a person who loves you is that you can count on them. No matter what it might be, no matter what it is that they might have to do. If they said they were going to do it, you can walk away and not be concerned about it, not worry about it, because that person loves you and that person is going to do what they promised you they would do. That's a part of understanding or knowing or demonstrating how much you love another, because you keep your promise, you keep your word, you don't deviate without coming back and explaining why you have to and finding out whether that would be appropriate for the person you made the promise to. We all know what it feels like when somebody breaks a promise, when somebody doesn't keep a promise. It certainly doesn't feel like love. So we have an obligation to treat others as we would have them treat us. And the first thing we want them to do is love us. There's nobody that doesn't want everyone else to love them, to treat them with honesty and respect. And all of the other things that fall under that column. That you can list them all. Some people might only have 5, some people might have 50, but the point is, all of the actions are energized by kindness and love. That we can feel, that we know is real because we can feel it. We know when it is issued forth because it's real, because we feel it and we appreciate it. So again, we also are hurt by, disappointed in the person who makes the promise and then doesn't keep it. Because we feel abandoned, we feel rejected, we feel tricked. So our rule, our column of actions that are wholesome and appropriate say that my responsibility to all others is to have the actions, the words, and the expressions that I would want to see coming from my friend, coming from someone who has expressed to me that they love me, they care about me, and they want to have the best for me. It's not about me asking them to give that, it's about them volunteering, saying to me that in their opinion, I am worth the effort. That in their opinion, I'm living my life in accord with the expiration, no, the expression of deserving only the authentic and the best. And it says, I will do those things. I will do the things that I want done to me, to you, because I love me. So make your list, because we're coming up on a time again when traditionally we recommit to love. We call it promises, resolutions. But it's really about recommitting to love, realizing that we didn't do our best, that we made excuses for ourselves, that we would not accept from others. That we would call others out on the same thing that we do and hope to get away with it. And every year, on the new year, we celebrate the opportunity to do it again and do it better. To be more honest in our relationships with others that we say we care about. To not carry over into a new year the crap that we laid on people last year. I guarantee, and I don't give guarantees often, but I guarantee that if you are able to construct that list, remember it's your list. It's not anybody, you're not asking anybody else to make a list for you. You're saying to yourself and to the world, to existence, how do I walk this earth in a better way? How do I know when I'm doing the right thing? And the rule says to ask yourself this question: would it be okay for someone to do it to you? Would you be okay if someone did this to you? And if your answer is yes, then it's fine. And if your answer is no, then you're prohibited. And immediately what you will notice is the argument that occurs in mind that says, yeah, but what if they do this? Or what if they say that? Would it be okay then for me to go back on my promise to them? And if you are operating from the heart, from the trueness of life, your answer and response will always be no, because you promised you would love them with all your heart, and that you would do nothing to hurt them, just as you would want them to do nothing to hurt you. That you are here, not just for yourself, but for everyone else. If you climb on my back and make me carry you across the street, then I'm here for you. And you benefited from me, but you haven't loved me. You just climbed on my back. But if we hold hands and we get across the street safely, then we've helped each other. The instructions tell us that we should check our list often. We should ask ourselves at the end of the day, how did I do? It seems to me that we don't have enough list checking. That we aren't mindful of our expressions and our actions in a given moment that will immediately allow us to have an awareness of our correctness or incorrectness, our wholesome or unwholesomeness. That we don't want to wait until someone has to tell us that we are treating them badly, but that we sense it, we pick it up, we are aware of it by body posture, by facial change. And because we've committed to respect and love and kindness, we immediately work on something. We design our moment of relationship with the other in a way that allows that person to relax again and to not feel threatened by what we appear to be expressing to them. In other words, if you're dancing with somebody and they tell you that you're stepping on their toes, get off their toes. Don't make an excuse. Don't say, well, I got to do it this way because I'm in a corner. So it requires that we continue to look at our list, look at the category to make sure that it's wholesome and not unwholesome. That's the first thing. And if we can observe that that action should be wholesome, should be okay, but yet and still the person doesn't look like they're okay with it, then love requires, or love demands from me the reaction, the ability to change my direction and change my tone. That I don't then say, well, yeah, but I love you and this is the way it was meant to be and you should appreciate this. That you should be okay with me because I'm doing these things and I'm doing those things and I know that this was the one thing I promised you I would do, but I'm doing all of these other things, so you should be okay. You should feel love. No. My response, my reaction should be when I see that you are uncomfortable, that you are disappointed, then I should change. If I care, if you are important to me, but it's important to check my list every day to make sure that I ask myself the question, how did I do today? How did I walk this earth today? How did I brush up against others today? Did I infect them with the virus, or did I give them love? Did I hurt them? Did I help them? I believe, and the scriptures tell us, no matter what theology the scriptures are pulled from, they tell us that if you live your life with love and kindness and respect, when it is time for you to go, and like we started this talk out by saying that we all going to go. Nobody's going to stay. We're not going to go at the same time, but we're all going to go. It is promised that it will be an easy transition. If you love others the way you want to be loved, it will be an easy transition when it's time. So if you want that, and everyone does, you got to live righteously. All right. I've sat here and talked and didn't give you an opportunity to say a word. And that's not loving. So, if there's anyone who'd like to say anything, please do. Please share. Please enlarge our capacity to be a good citizen, to be a good family member, to be a good partner in a relationship. That's what holding your hand and going across the street together means. It means that we'll help each other get through this with love and kindness and respect. That we don't take from one what we don't want to give. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Oh, they have to come up here? Okay. As they say in the Baptist church, come on down. Come on.
Well, I actually have announcements.
Okay, well, let's make those. That's a loving thing to do.
Good afternoon, everyone. Is that for everybody? Your announcement?
Yes. To the screen. Oh, okay. Like skip it down here.
But she wants to make sure that her image is on the screen. Is that the idea?
Okay. Oh, I know that. Hi, everybody. I'm Shanna. So we have a few announcements. So we have an upcoming online on December 4th. A DC retreat is open to past and current practitioners currently on the waiting list. So you can go to the Heartwood website for more information and to register. We are also holding a special 4 watches of the night retreat inspired by the Buddha's Night of Enlightenment. We will meditate from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. daily, beginning 6 p.m. Monday, December 28th through 6 a.m. Friday, January 1st. So you can look in your inbox for an upcoming email about that information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So are we gonna have that information somewhere in print so that we can,
What's your question, sister?
I was wondering if that information could be posted so we understand more about it, or this is the first I've heard about it, so.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure we'll share much more the thing as we get closer to it.
Okay.
You have to close it and then I can end it.
Okay.
Understood.
We can do this off the camera and also live. We can have these conversations.
Okay, well, we thank everyone who joined us this morning. First of all, you, the local Sangha here, we thank you for coming and listening. And all of those out in virtual land, we appreciate you too. And I hope that we all, in some small way or large way, benefit from this. Because that was the way it was given. To heal and benefit. So, if there's no more to say, we will say goodbye. Thank you all so very much.